Okay, so this is the third time I'm redoing this because the first two I didn't think were that good. But I'm gonna keep this short, simple. I don't even know what time it is. I think it says 10 o'clock. I don't know. But I'm gonna keep this short, simple, straight to the point. Your excuses mean absolutely nothing. Your excuses mean nothing. None. At all. And I'm not saying this to be like authoritarian or, like a fitness influencer. Like, I truly mean this because I've been experiencing it for the past couple weeks. The same excuses that you're giving are the same reasons why somebody went out and did it. I don't care if you're from the hood. I don't care if you're the richest kid on the block. Matter of fact, we've all heard the come up story where you were raised in the hood, where somebody was raised in the hood of New York, the hood of Chicago, the hood of Detroit, the hood of Atlanta, the hood of LA, and they made it out. Your excuses mean absolutely nothing. And I'll tell y'all a story. Growing up, my mother worked 3 jobs. Single mother. And I remember there would be occasions where I wouldn't see her for weeks at a time. And if it weren't for her sacrifices, if it weren't for her reason for busting her tail and doing everything she could, I would have never had a phone. I remember I got a phone at 10 years old. And back in what was that? If I was 10... That was probably like 2013. I would have, most kids my age didn't have a phone. Especially back in 2013. I remember I got a basketball goal for Christmas. I remember I got an Xbox one year for Christmas. Granted, I think my grandfather bought me that. But, dude, if it weren't for my mom, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have experienced the things I experienced. And following back on giving the excuses, right? If you knew my story, if you knew how I grew up, you would honestly think to yourself, how does this kid not have a baby mama and 2 kids? How does this kid not working a 9 to 5? How is this kid not a party animal or a drug addict or selling dope? How is this kid baptized? The way I grew up around drug dealers, alcoholics, party animals, junk. I had every excuse not to become the person I am now. I grew up around people who cussed in every other sentence, and I don't cuss. I had every excuse, but I told myself, growing up, I was like, this is not the life I want to live. And for some of my boys who I grew up with, their excuses became my reason. And it's interesting because you have to ask yourself, are the excuses that I'm giving allowing me to be more content? Because once you do that, once you start giving in to your excuses, the more content you'll be. I truly want you to reflect on this. The more excuses you give and the more you give into them, the more content you become. And I want you to think about this because me personally, I've been in situations where it didn't matter the excuses that I had. And I'm gonna give you a comparison, okay? So I just moved into my apartment. Actually, over a month ago now. I moved into my apartment about a month ago. And for the first 3 weeks, I became so much at peace. Like, I'm the type of person, like, I don't need people around me to have a good time. Like, I don't need people in my house, or I don't need to constantly be around people to enjoy my time. I don't need to. Like, I legit could probably live in the wilderness for the rest of my life with no internet and, like, no social media. Like, I would be at peace. And so when I got this apartment, for the first 3 weeks, I finally got something that I've always wanted, which is just me, my peace. And because of that, I became complacent, because it became all about me. When you indulge in your excuses, just understand you're indulging in pride, more or less. Like, if you're giving into your excuses, you're giving into selfishness. That's a way better word than pride. Selfishness. Like, you're being selfish when you start giving into your excuses, right? So when I'm starting to give more excuses, and I'm starting to become more content, and I'm so glad I developed a mindset of constant reflection, that I was sitting here, I'm like, bro, why am I not as hungry as I was like 2 months ago? Like, why don't I have this fire anymore? Like, what happened to that? And I'm sitting here, and I'm thinking, bro, I've been giving so many excuses. Like, I've been letting little things slide that I would never let slide before. Like, bro. And I was sitting here, and I realized that it is so much easier to not give an excuse when it's about somebody else than when it's about you. Like I said, my mother worked 3 jobs. I guarantee if I wasn't in her life, she wouldn't be working 3 jobs. She wouldn't have ever bought a phone, or she would have never been able to do the things that she was able to provide for me if I wasn't in her life. That's just facts. It's so easy not to indulge in excuses when it's not about you. I'll give another example. When I was in high school, I ran track. And I didn't run track because I was fast. I ran track to stay in shape for football. And I had the worst shin splints out of anybody on the team. Like, it was so bad, whenever I would get home, I would instantly get a cold bucket of water and ice and put my shins in there for like 10 minutes, which is far longer than what anybody needs to be doing. But it wasn't about me. Yes, I was staying and running track because of football. Like, I wasn't the fastest. I wasn't the most gifted. I was below average, if anything, when it came to track. Like, I was not the fastest guy. But I did it to stay in shape for football. And I was playing football because I wanted to go D1. And I wanted to go D1 so I had the higher chance of going to the NFL. So my mother didn't have to work another day in her life. And I could buy her that dream house. And I could buy her that dream car. And whenever I would get those shin splints, I would just get mad. Because I was thinking, like, this is trying to hold me back from where I want to be. And this is holding me back from those who I'm trying to help and trying to take care of. And I remember one day, I was so fed up. Like, I was so fed up that when we were running 300s, and when we got done with the 300, we would just walk the 100. And then once we got back to the 300, and when the other group, I think it was the girls or something like that, when the other group finished, we would go. So I'm walking, and I'm like the last person that's walking, and everybody's up front. And then the second group, they finish, and my group is heading off, and I'm pissed because I'm like, bro, I look like a total wuss compared to the group. But not only that, like, I'm being held back by this pain. And it is so irritating because I am more than this. So what I did I just said, forget it. I'm over it. I'm done. And I went off. Like, the group was maybe like, I wouldn't argue, like 50 to 75 meters in front of me. And I surpassed them because I was so irritated. And I just indulged in the pain because I was so mad. I was like, bro, if literally at this point, I just want to get this over with and just prove to myself that I will not let this pain define where I want to go. And I'll never forget, I literally like, I think I was like 100 meters ahead of the group. And I finished and I collapsed. And my coach was like, if your shins were hurting that bad, why would you do that to yourself? And I was so exhausted and I couldn't even tell him that I wouldn't let the pain define who I am. I wouldn't let the pain let be an excuse as to why I couldn't perform well. And that's what you got to get to. You can't let the excuses define where you want to be and who you want to become. You can't let the excuses and the pain cloud the mission and the vision and the dream in which who you want to take care of. Because the moment you do that, the moment you become selfish. And the moment you become selfish, life gets easier. But it doesn't. Life gets easier because you have less problems. But the reality is, when life gets easier, it really gets harder because you don't indulge in the gifts and the dreams that God gave you. So, I'm actually going to wrap the video up here. Like I said, it's going to be a short video, but DM me what you guys think of this video. I answer all my DMs. Let me know if this was something that inspired you or this opened your mind up to something, or maybe you were curious about how I was able to get out of the situation I was in and just do better in my life. So DM me on Instagram. I answer all my DMs. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video.